Happy Manliness Monday, YouTube. Today, I'm actually starting a short series on this book, Don'ts for Boys. It is an old book, and I'd like to read through, copyright 1902. I'd like to read through a couple pages, go through the lessons and miss lessons from the past, and we'll see how it goes. So, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into it. Alright, so this is an interesting book. It was linked to me by Mike, my friend Mike, who does a lot of the Philosophy Wednesdays with me. So I figured this would be a good one I could do huge chunks in, and it'll be kind of fun and interesting. So the full title is Don'ts for Boys, or Errors Conducted by an Old Boy. You know, some of the wording's a product of its time. Old book, 1902, by Henry Aldemus. Don't be ashamed of honest work. It is better to be a good blacksmith than a bad lawyer. Honestly, I think that's the best way to start one of these books, is with that kind of advice. In short, regardless of what your job is, be good at it. It's better to be a good janitor than a bad anything else. Because if you're good, you'll stay hired, you'll be employed, you'll have a good reputation. And if you're bad, you kind of get slung through the mud, you get fired. Life's just not so good. Don't dine sumptuously on payday and deprive the body of energy-giving food the rest of the week. Now, another basic common sense one. In short, and this is more relevant for people who are paid bi-weekly, and this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way. Don't blow all your money on payday. And actually, the job I'm working at now, I get paid on a Wednesday, which kind of, by its very nature, disincentivizes me to go out to the bar and spend a lot of money. Which is actually a good thing. It forces you to conserve your money a little bit better and just be more responsible. Which, in the long run, the more responsible you are with money, the more fun you do get to have. Do you remember the last vacation you had a lot more vividly, a lot more fondly than the last time you went to McDonald's? Don't be too fond of personal liberty. A rein and a curb help a fellow to go straight. Basically, don't let yourself go nuts with your own personal freedom. This happens to a lot of kids who have too strict a home life. Once they get out of college and get out from under that rein, they go nuts and end up blowing their scholarships or, winding themselves up in really, really bad trouble. So, keeping, they're saying a rein and a curb, but keeping all your vices in check is a much better way to live your life, as opposed to just letting your desires take the wheel. Don't be gloomy, selfish, or revengeful. That's kind of one of the key points of manliness is, you turn the other cheek, you keep going, and you hold yourself with dignity. When you're gloomy, no one wants to be around you. When you're selfish, no one wants to know you. And I actually had a conversation with a guy recently about this. And don't be revengeful. That should be just a given. There's a famous line from, I guess not really famous, but from Boondock Saints 2, where all the Yakovetas are in one room and they're arguing about killing a priest. I should have done this earlier in the day. I wouldn't be yawning so much. Where was I? Oh, Yakovetas. And what it amounts to is they're going after the saints for killing, a bunch of their own. And the one guy makes a very good point. It's kind of in broken Brooklyn English, but it's there's no money in revenge, and that's true. You don't really gain anything in revenge. Don't be a bore. The poorest boy in an office can be a good model of manners and neatness. Duh. Be a good human being. A lot of these come down to that. Just be a good human being. If you typify being a man, there's 107 pages here. If you typify being an actual man, 90% of these are givens. I think I'll do 10 pages today. So, page 7. Don't forget that a reputation for hard common sense is as excellent as it is rare. There's a quote by Benjamin Franklin. I'm full of quotes. That common sense isn't so common. And that's painfully true. And a lot of things that you think should be common sense, people just, they don't realize anymore. And it's really a shame. Because it makes them look stupid, it makes them look foolish, and a lot of things that should be common sense, like how to change a tire, how to check your oil, how to tie your shoes the right way, how to wear a belt, how to wear a pair of pants. They've fallen by the wayside. How to greet somebody properly, writing a thank you note, looking both ways. Don't stare at your cell phone before you walk across the street. These things should be basic common sense, and they've been thrown out over the last 60 years, some of them more recently. Pay attention to where you're going. Look before you leap. A lot of these things are very old phrases and sayings that should typify and be like, yeah, no, I know, but they're not anymore. You can go on YouTube right now and find compilation after compilation of people just walking into stuff, walking into fountains and stuff while watching their cell phone. And, come on. Really? But hard common sense. If you have a good faculty for common sense, a lot of the times you're better off than people who have a college degree. And that's just a fact. 90% of this world was built and designed for what should be common sense. Working on a car 50 to 60% of the time is just common sense. Oh no, I don't have power. I should look at the power system. I don't know how the power system, works. Maybe I should research that online. Oh, there's a battery, there's a couple cables, and there's an alternator. Which is wrong? Well, let me check to make sure the connections are right. Okay, connections are right. Okay, I'll check the battery. Well, if it's not any of that stuff, there's a good chance your alternator's trashed. Change the alternator. How do you do that? Look it up on YouTube. None of anything I said is outside the bounds of general common sense. But how many people can actually work on cars anymore? Legitimately work on cars. Where was I? Don't chaff a smaller boy. He has to bear it because you are the stronger. Basically, don't be a bully. Just because you're larger than somebody doesn't make you better than them. I believe this is a good lesson for a lot of jocks in high school, but Don't venture into any society until you have mastered its etiquette. I don't agree with this one. Because a lot of times you have to go into that society to understand its etiquette and to understand the intricacies and the subtleties of that society and their etiquette. So a lot of times you can't master something before you actually get involved in it. Now, how this should read is, don't venture into any society until you have become acquainted with their etiquette. Because you should at least take the initial step to do your research, to talk to people, and try and figure out what's going on with that group before you try and integrate yourself. The boy who fights when he shouldn't is a bully, but one who doesn't when he should is a cad. A cad's like a coward. Yes and no. It's kind of murky as to when you should fight, and when you shouldn't. So I can't really say anything to that. Don't allow resentment to stay in your breast overnight. This is a good one. It's better said, don't go to bed angry. And there's a number of reasons for this, because first off, your subconscious will work on that anger and reinforce those neural pathways while you're sleeping. And that's just terrible for you. It gives you a horrible disposition the next day, and you're more prone to remember the anger and act on the anger than if you just say, you know what, whatever. Life happens, you're an ass. I'm moving on. Also, if you go to bed angry, you probably won't get as good of sleep. You know, you'll have bad dreams, or you might lay there in bed seething for hours. Is that good for anybody? No. Don't cut out sleep too often, or you'll find she's cut you out. I am not 100% sure I understand what they're going here. I guess keep a sleep schedule or else you'll suffer from insomnia. I don't know. If you guys have any idea what they're talking about with this one, don't cut out sleep too often or you'll find she's cut you out. This one here on the bottom. Let me know what you think, because that one kind of confuses me. Don't be afraid of your own company. You may find yourself a very pleasant companion. Honestly, I'm heavily introverted. I love my own company. It's very taxing for me to be in the company of others. I mean, hence why I'm stuck behind a microphone and a camera. But I don't know. I think you should value your alone time. You don't always have to be around people, the center of attention. Sometimes it's good to sit alone and meditate, read a book, go for a walk, sit by a stream. It's healthy. But I love my alone time. So, don't despond. If you can't earn more, try to save more until you connect. No. I don't agree with this at all. You should always be, don't despond is another way of saying don't give in to despair. If you can't earn more, try to save more until you connect. Yeah, but there's only so many ways you can save. And especially if you're poor, you don't get that option of saving money very often. Just by nature of you don't have the capital on hand to spend on bulk purchases, which in the long run will save you money. And at a certain point, you can only cut so much before you have nothing left to cut. And if you're still not making money, you got to find a different revenue stream. So I don't really agree with that one. Cultivate observation. The boy who notes causes achieves effects. I do have a great quote. It's from a friend of mine on the archive named Mac. There is a great amount of information in a picture. However, it is not a purely passive process. You must train the eye to see. And I probably butchered that quote. However, it's true. You need to cultivate that observation. And the more you observe and you can see these connections forming around you, whether it's at work, on a job, working on your car, you observe the connections and link things together in your mind, the more progress, the more success you'll have in your endeavors. And that's with all things. YouTube. Observe how your audience is, how your fans are, how random people react to things. Observe the timing of your videos, the content of your videos, your thumbnail. All these things have different reactions that seem at first kind of random and discrete until you train yourself to learn and understand how all these things kind of mesh together. And I'm still learning that process, and I probably will for several years, but you need to be observant. A lot of these I have really strong feelings on. Fascinating. Don't fake. A fellow may bury his grandmother twice, but the third time he'll be out of a job. Basically, don't lie. Eventually you'll be caught. That's really it. Duh. Don't show contempt. No one ever forgives this. I mean, don't be an asshole. That's like half these lessons is don't be an asshole. Don't be inattentive. It's a cardinal sin in business. I'd like to expand this one and say it's a cardinal sin in life. When you're inattentive, things go by the wayside. You miss things, you forget things. If you're an inattentive lover, soon sex isn't great. And whoever you're with isn't going to want to be with you. If you're inattentive in your relationships, people tend to slip away, or you'll get dumped. You'll notice fights happening more often. If you're inattentive at work, you're going to get yelled at. So, not just business. It's every facet of your life you should be attentive in. Don't admire the boy who tells you he has money to burn. That sort generally asks alms in old age. Yeah, because if you have money to burn, you really should be saving that money or spending it on things that aren't just frivolous things. And you should always be looking for your future, saving and planning ahead for your future and trying to better yourself one way or another, not just burning money. Whatever lessens your respect for yourself will cheapen you. I like this because self-respect is one of the cornerstones of being a man. You need to respect yourself first before others will respect you. And if you don't, it makes you, over time, weak-willed. And you don't want to be that guy. you need to respect yourself. You need to put into your body what is good for your body. You need to observe moderation, including moderation, in most of your life. So, yeah, if you don't respect yourself and you have McDonald's 6 days a week, like I did for a couple years, I wasn't in that good of health, and I gained a bunch of weight. I felt crappy. And I'm just starting to take the weight off now. I lost 40 pounds by not doing that and respecting myself a little bit more. So, yeah, respect yourself, guys. Don't think it frugality. Yeah, don't think it frugality to go half fed. It's ruination. If you guys can afford to feed yourself, eat. But eat the right things. I'd rather you spend, instead of spending $10 on, a McDonald's meal, I'd rather you spend $12 on getting good, healthy food for you and eating a little bit less. But half-fed? No. Feed yourself. Your body needs that food to create the energy to make you go forward in life. If you want to operate at your peak, you need food. And you need the right food. It's not just a physical thing either. Your food affects every facet of your body, including your mind and your mental stability, your well-being. Eat right. Don't say all you think concerning your employers. In business, as in politics, silence is always golden. Duh. I've had several bosses that were real assholes. But if I had told them that, I wouldn't have been employed. Sometimes it's best to keep things to yourself and off social media. Social media is you might as well be saying it to the boss. Don't consider it your mission to reform your friends. Keep your eye on your own lapses and you'll be quite busy. Pretty much. You should cultivate the people around you that you cultivate shouldn't need your help. You should be able to focus on yourself, and you should focus on yourself first in all things. And if your friends don't understand that, they're really not your friends. They're just acquaintances who want your time. And they should be doing the same thing too. They should be more focused on themselves than what's going on in your life, unless you ask for help. You're not here to fix anybody. That's one of the main causes of ruined relationships. People think they can fix other people. You can't. It really comes down to they need to get the help for themselves. It's not your job to fix people. You need to worry about yourself. Don't fail to put your sturdy shoulder to your father's wheel occasionally. Age weakens backs and arms. I mean, yeah, help your dad. Help your parents. Help your elders. Always. Duh. Don't let your thoughts run away with your manners. Command them to await your convenience. Yeah. Guys, you need to control your mind. You need to control your thoughts, your mannerisms when you're out in public. pretty much, when you go out in public, every single day, you're selling yourself. And you need to act accordingly, speak accordingly, dress accordingly. When you type out a text message to someone, you need to, put forward your best thought, your best idea, your best intention every single time. Because it shouldn't be this way, but reality is you are judged every single day by everything you do, by everyone around you. You're judged on your manners. You're judged on your appearance. You're judged on how well you speak. You're judged on how well you write. You are judged on, if you keep yourself groomed, how well you smell. Everything. So always put your best foot forward. Don't display knowledge. Keep it on tap, but never on tongue. I'm not really sure what they're going here. I think you should always be knowledgeable. If you have the knowledge, you should always put it forth. At least in my experience, that's always worked best. A couple more pages here. 2 more pages. Don't confuse notoriety with success. Notoriety is born in an hour, success after many days. Yeah. I mean, this kind of goes against the saying that there is no bad press. However, you don't want to be the asshole. You want to be famous, not infamous. Don't drawl. A fellow who drags his words after him is shunned by forceful men. I don't necessarily agree with this. However, I can't really disagree with it either. You want to have your speech be presentable. You want it to be easily understood. You want to pronounce your words correctly. You want to enunciate correctly. I do it all the time, but you want to cut out all your non-fluencies if you can. You want to be as short or as curtailed as possible in your speech. You want to get to the point. And a lot of times, the faster you talk in certain businesses, the better. All you need to do is be understood easily by the person listening to you. So if you're not in a fast-paced environment and the social custom around you is to drawl, it doesn't really matter. Don't hope to do much unless you are physically all right. Labor demands health. Pretty much. You need to look after your health first. If you have a bad back, don't try and lift an engine block. If you just threw out your back, take a few days to rest, relax, and rehab yourself before you get, back into the heavy work. You're more efficient over time if you're healthy while you're working and you take a couple days off. I can go into a whole thing about this, about efficiency, and it would be boring as hell because I'd go into labor statistics, I'd pull up a couple graphs, but you always want to take care of your health first. Do your best to get a good night's sleep, eat a good meal, have some coffee, and get to work. If you put your health on the back burner, you're gonna find out pretty quickly that you're not working. Last page. Don't fail to learn a trade if you are self-dependent. Talent may keep you. A trade is sure to. That's great advice. if you look at things, singers, pop culture icons, they eventually fade. Football stars, how long do they have? 5 years? 10? And what happens to their bodies? Do you think they can play football forever? No. You need to always invest in something that's always going to keep you employed, always going to bring you a revenue stream. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great example of this. Is he physically fit still? Yeah. He didn't make his money in fitness, though. He didn't make the bulk of his money as a movie star until pretty recently. Where he made his money is dealing in realty. Smart man. Look at George Foreman. He got behind a product line where when his body started to crap out on him, he was able to have a stream of income. Yeah. He's a multimillionaire now. You need to constantly think of things in certain ways, like, fallback plans, basically. If you have a talent in a trade, there's a good chance you will always be employed. If I get fired from my job now, pardon me. If I get fired from my job now, my trade is a draftsman. If YouTube goes away and I can no longer be an internet talent, I still have a trade. I can be picked up by another company pretty quick. I can work as a blacksmith. I can work as a woodworker, a carpenter, rough carpentry. I can do it. I have trades that I can work in, I can fall back on. You should always have the same. Because no matter how great your run is, and no matter how confident you feel right this minute, it will eventually run out. What are you going to do when it does? Don't stud your speech with French jewels. Better to use the well-polished silver of pure English. Yes and no. I think using certain words in other languages, especially when they don't have an English equivalent, is a good thing. But don't use it to ooh and ah people. Use it for the utility. Like, 5 minutes ago I could have told you 6. There are a lot of things in other languages that have no equivalent in English. And in that sense, in that case, it is completely and absolutely fine to use them. But don't use other words in it, when you're speaking in English to just make yourself sound fancy. It makes you sound ridiculous and gaudy. Don't miss any chance to meet or listen to great men. Lessons and models are thus obtained. I'd say yes and no. And I would widen that out to more than just great men. Great people in general. You should watch them, you should research them, and try to model your life after theirs, or at least the good qualities of theirs. Like, you might want to be a great writer, but you also don't want Hemingway's alcoholism. Or, I don't know. But you want to try to model yourself after people better than you. And there are people better than you. There will always be people better than you. But the rub is, you shouldn't let people who are better than you, you need to aspire to be as good as they are and then better than them, always. And then find the next person, and the next person, and the next person. That's one great way of improving yourself and finding people and finding ways how to improve yourself. You emulate the best qualities of people who are better than you. And when you do that, life gets better for you. Anyways, guys, this is the first 10-page of Don'ts for Boys. A great book. Apparently, this is very old and kind of expensive, so I'm trying to be very gentle with it. I think I'm going to actually bulk record a couple of these, maybe 3 or 4 more. Because I do want to get this book back to Mike. It's only on loan for me, and this is like 116 years old. So, very precious, very, very special book. So guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button and really hit that subscribe button, because I release new content all the time. I'm doing my best to get back to three days a week. And I might have a secret surprise coming possibly in the next few weeks. Maybe, don't hold me to it, but I might have something great coming. Still working out details. So, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a thing. And there are 3 ways to support this channel if you want to, if you can. Prime way is my Patreon. Basically, you go over there and you donate, whatever you can per month. Whether it's $1, $5, or if there's anyone out there that can donate about $10,000 a month, I'd be thrilled. There is my Etsy store where you can go and buy things, plans, and other things I make. And if you guys can't spend any extra money, because I know money can get tight very easily, I do have affiliate links in the description down below. You click on that and then you do your regular Amazon shopping. I get a kickback. So if you're doing Christmas shopping, please help me out. Anyways, guys, again, thanks for watching. I'm going to be doing a lot of these because they're kind of fun to go through. And I'll see you later. Where is the stop button?